Okay, I'm going to comment on some of this because our people are deceived so often, and now these foreigners are being deceived. They're being told a bunch of stuff that is not true. Now, I don't know how many of y'all watch these. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that are shown every day, all night, every night, all night about police interactions with people on the streets, in cars, on people's properties, outside of houses, inside of houses, at the doors. And the shit that this woman is saying is very irresponsible. Just listen.
Monitor and be vigilant as to what's happening in the streets of Chicago. About a month ago, Tom Homan said Chicago is ground zero. So we have been preparing for this, and we have been advising people of their rights. Immigrants have rights under the U.S. Constitution. They are free, should be free under the Fourth Amendment from searches, unreasonable searches, and seizures. So individuals who get—
Stop. You don't have no fucking rights until you go into a courtroom and a judge gives you your rights. When you're on the streets or in a car, there are so many ways that these police officers can trap you into a felony. Now, this is serious shit. Their whole goal in the first place is to give you a felony. And a lot of these traps are like failure to comply, interfering with an investigation, refusing to give your name when asked. If you say, they ask you for ID, and you say, well, I don't have to give you my ID, or you say, I don't have my, that. Well, now you're interfering with an investigation. Now, if you say, well, I don't have an ID, so give me your name and date of birth. Well, I don't think I have to give you anything, sir. I'm giving you a command. Give me your name and date of birth, or else give me your ID. And when you don't do it again, then you don't comply. That's interfering with an investigation. That is a crime. And then when they grab your arm and say, okay, we got to place you under arrest, if you jerk your arm away at all, if you flinch, that is called resisting arrest and can translate into assault against a police officer, and all you did was jerk your hand away. That is a felony. I got a friend right now that got a felony for just something simple as that. The officer grabbed his arm and all he did was pull away a little bit, just a little bit. That is called assault on a police officer. You will not go to prison. You will be a convicted felon for the rest of your natural life. These are fucking traps. I'm just listen to this shit.
They're knocking their door. Do not have to open that door. Should be free under the Fourth Amendment from searches, unreasonable searches, and seizures. So individuals who get a knock on their door do not have to open that door unless they are shown through the window or slipped under the door a signed judicial warrant, signed by a judge.
Stop right there. Now, anybody that watches enough of these videos, these are not secrets. Don't take my word for it. Just Google interactions with the police, and you will see every day they're showing instances where the police officer will say they have a warrant, and the person will say, I want to see the warrant. And the officer will say, I'll show you the warrant after you're in custody. They don't have to show you shit until after they have you. Their procedures suggest that they have to put you in custody. They have to detain you first so you won't run away and shit. Now, they do this so that you will resist. Refusal to comply, interfering with the investigation, resisting, all these things are felonies. And she's telling you don't comply. And I'm saying is, you need to first of all, if there's a knock on the door, you don't have to answer it. It's that simple. You can look through the peephole. You don't have to say nothing. You don't have to respond. If they have a warrant, they will kick in the door. If they don't kick in the door, then you can just don't respond. It's that simple. And God forbid, if you have, well, this is the advice I would say. invest in a camera that from inside the house or a Ring doorbell where on your phone or inside your house, you can see who's at the door. That way you ain't got to answer the door. You ain't got to say, hey, don't say nothing. You can look out there and see, is it a police officer or not? But the bottom line is, you're at a disadvantage. When they come for you, God damn it, they come for you. But this advice she's given, this is going to have you be charged with 1 or 2 or 3 fucking felonies. And they just stack them on up. Hold on.
That is really critical. And if they don't have a signed judicial warrant, they have no right to enter their home. And the same with the workplace. So people need to know their rights and be aware that they should not open the door. They should not let people into their office space unless there's a signed judicial warrant. And that's for one person. They can't just go ahead and arrest everyone on site or everyone in the Home Depot parking lot, because again, we have succeeded in securing a settlement that says you have to have a warrant for that individual or probable cause for arresting that individual. It just
stop. Now you're going to have individuals thinking that they can repeat all this shit when the police show up. When the police show up, you don't have no fucking rights until a judge in a courtroom later on, after the fact, gives you your rights. And you're not supposed to debate the law sitting there with a police officer. And what they don't tell you is that, you know, when you are accosted by a law enforcement officer, you are not supposed, they don't have to sit there and debate with you what the law says, what statute it is, show me in writing, all this motherfucking shit. They don't have to do nothing. That's what a courtroom is for. Their job is to show up and say, oh, well, we have a reason to suspect. We have reasonable suspicion, or we have probable cause, or we have a warrant in our hands. We'll show you the warrant after are you that person? Okay, turn around and put your hands behind your back. They don't have to show you the warrant until after they have detained you. And they can say, well, that's our procedure. And when you don't comply, when you resist, now you're resisting arrest. Then you have failure to comply. Then you have assault on a police officer if you jerk your hand away. These are like 3 separate, they can just felony. And don't take my word for it. All you do is just watch every single day. You watch these civil rights lawyers that are on YouTube 24 hours a day showing you each individual event and showing you how people are being tricked. Especially if they have a warrant in their hand and you interfere with an investigation or you interfere with the officer's duties, or I mean, there's so many things they can charge you with. They're all traps. Best thing to do is act like you don't hear nobody at the door. Just don't say, huh, who is it? Don't say nothing. Just act like you didn't hear, like, hey, that's the way you do that. Unless you're that person, you might as well turn yourself in. I mean, I'm just saying, if they're out there, if they got a warrant for you, you might as well go ahead and get arrested and wait for your day in court, get a lawyer and all that stuff. Now you can got some rights. You're in jail. Now a judge, your lawyer can go before a judge and give you your fucking rights. Well, you know, they have a right to, we'll assess a bond as, you can return at your own recognizance. We'll take your word for it. That we'll believe you'll show up in 60 days or whatever, right? We'll let you, on your word, we'll let you, or we'll give us $100 and we'll let you out on bond. The judge can give you some fucking rights. But when that officer is in front of you, anywhere, if you're in a car, automatically, especially, let's say you're in a car, your license or your registration is suspended. This is very important. Once the police officer runs your tag out on the street somewhere, he pulls you over, you're driving, you already know that your license plate is suspended. This is what I want you to believe. You are already captured. Put that in your mind right now. Once he runs your tag and pulls you over, you're already captured. Consider yourself already captured. Because if you don't, you'll think you have some rights. You'll say, well, why did you pull me over? Well, you didn't have a reason to pull me over. All these types of things. Now you're starting to interfere with an investigation. Now your failure to comply, he's going to ask you, okay, to step out of the vehicle. First of all, let me see your, he already knows your registration is expired. He's going to walk up to the car and ask you, well, let me see your registration and your proof of insurance and your driver's license, please. Well, why'd you pull me over? Well, we'll discuss that. Okay, we'll discuss that. But first, I need to see your information. Give me your driver's license, your registration, and proof of insurance. Well, I want to know why you stopped me. Now you're starting to failure to comply, interfering with an investigation. These are all crimes, right? And they just continue to escalate. He's going to be real nice because he wants to continue to accumulate all these fucking charges that can transition into felonies. Now, you don't have to listen to an old person like me, but I'm telling you, if you already know your license, your tag is expired, and you get pulled over, immediately consider yourself captured. It will go better for you if you just hand him the information. Oh, did you know I pulled you over because your car registration is expired. Your tags is expired. Oh, man, I didn't even know. Well, okay, let me give you this warning ticket. It might go like that. But as long as you're trying to outsmart the cop or you're trying to say, well, what's your probable cause? Why did you pull me over? You didn't have a reason to pull me over. I was driving perfectly. Now you're starting to piss the officer off because he already knows he's got you. You're already captured. In other words, you're already dirty. He knows he's already got you if he wants you. He's got you for expired license plates, and he can tow the vehicle. Yes, he can tow the vehicle. So he doesn't have to tow the vehicle. But if you start being smart alecky and, well, I want to know the probable cause, reason this is, what is your probable cause? What is your articulate, I mean, all these fancy terms, you're like, oh, it's one of these people's, okay? Okay, I'll tell you what, just step out of the vehicle. Why? I don't have to step. Sir, I'm asking you to step out of the vehicle. I don't have to step out of the vehicle. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. I'm giving you an order to step out of the vehicle, please. And when you don't step out of the vehicle, now you are failure to comply. That's another goddamn crime. Right? And if he has to break in the car, because first then he's going to say, well, okay, now, you know what? You didn't step out of the vehicle. Now you're under arrest. So step out of the vehicle. And then he goes to break in the car. As soon as you jerk your arm away or anything, that is assault against a police officer, a felony. You're not going to do any prison time. But for the rest of your life, you're going to have invisible chains. I'm trying to let you know, do not listen to these people. If you're riding dirty and you get caught, immediately just when he asks you for your shit, just say, oh, where's my, shit. Here's my registration and my insurance. And if you don't have driver's license, you already know you consider yourself captured. If you're one of these sovereign people that think you don't have to have a driver's license and shit, the best thing you can do is comply. Because when he pulls you over and you know that you're all wrong, consider yourself captured. Arguing with him on the side of the road, this is the rule you need to learn. The side of the road is not a courtroom. The officer doesn't have to answer your motherfucking questions. Out of courtesy, some police departments as it is their policy, will tell you the officer has to give you his name and his badge number. But make no mistake about it, there's no law saying he's got to give you a goddamn thing, because on his uniform in your fucking face is his name and his motherfucking badge number. And if you can't speak or read English, that is not his motherfucking... I'm just saying. He doesn't have to answer it's not a courtroom. When you go to court, that's when you get to debate the law. Not on the side of the road. If you try to not do what the officer tells you to do, it's failure to comply. You're uncooperative. All these types of things. You're resisting arrest. You're interfering with investigation. All these are crimes. All of it, and they can mutate into felonies. So hold on. Let's listen some more of this shit. Hold on.
Can't be a sweep of every individual.
Mary, do you think, Executive Director Mary, do you think that,
probable cause for arresting that individual? It just can't be a sweep of every individual.
Stop. Here we go again. When an officer shows up, whether it's in your house, outside your house, in a car, outside the car, in a goddamn park, at a beach, outside of a club, any motherfucking where, if an officer's looking for somebody, and he walks up and says, let me see some identification, please. You say, why? Well, I'll tell you that, but let me see your identification. Well, I want to know why. Oh, hold on here now. I'm doing an investigation. Now, let me see your identification, please. If you 4 or 5 times refuse to give him your identification, you're interfering with an investigation. And I'm going to tell you why this is important. Let's say there's 5 people there. He suspects or he knows that the driver of the car or the owner of the car, the person that the car is registered to has a suspended driver's license. So when he pulls over the car and there's 4 people in the car, he asks the driver's license for his ID. All right. And then the driver says, well, I don't want to give you my ID. Well, you're interfering with an investigation. Let's say you're on the side of the road at a club. He has a warrant for somebody's arrest. Let's say, you're at a house. He's got a warrant for somebody's arrest. And he shows up and there's 5 people standing there. And he says, okay, let me see your ID and let me see your ID. Why? You don't have to. Hold on a minute here. Like, I know who I'm dealing with. If you fail to give you his ID to see if you're the person that he has a warrant for, you're interfering with an investigation. Because out of 5 of y'all, 1 of y'all might be the one he has a warrant on. This is the address that's in his computer that says this is where the person lives or resides, or he has information that the person is here, and he wants to see if one of the people here is the person that he has a warrant for. And then you don't want to give your ID. Now you're interfering with an investigation, which is a crime. I'm just trying to tell you. And if you keep doing it, you say, I got to detain you because you're acting erratic. I don't want you to run, or you're acting funny. No, you're not under arrest, but I just want to just put the cuffs on you. You're being detained, right? For my safety. And then you jerk your arm away. You just assaulted a police officer just by jerking your hand away. All right? That's a crime. I'm just telling you, not only these are crimes, these are punishable for 2.5 years in prison. Now, as the first offense, they're not going to make you do any time in prison. But if they want to, they can make your ass sit in prison for 2.5 years. I know a guy right now, well, he's dead now. He went to prison on 2.5 years for some similar shit. Well, it wasn't for that, but bottom line is, was assault on a police officer. And just the silliest, stupidest shit. They made him do like 2.5 years in prison. So I'm just telling you, don't listen. Hold on, let's listen some more of this horse shit. Hold on.
Mary, do you think, Executive Director Mary, do you think that, an undocumented immigrant or a migrant, do you think they'd have the wherewithal or feel like they do have the rights to do exactly what you said, not to open the door or to walk away? Because who knows if the ICE agents or whatever.
You're disobeying a command. You're interfering with, okay, you just walk away. Hold on there, stop there. You're being detained. And you walk away, now you're interfering with the investigation. You're disobeying a lawful command. These are crimes. That's why this is bad advice. This lawyer, just listen to this fucking lawyer. Don Lemon asks him a fair question because he's black. And this fucking lawyer, hold on.
Feel like they do have the rights to do
sweep of every individual.
Mary, do you think, Executive Director Mary, do you think that, an undocumented immigrant or a migrant, do you think they'd have the wherewithal or feel like they do have the rights to do exactly what you said, not to open the door or to walk away? Because who knows if the ICE agents or whatever official is coming to get them, that they're going to abide by the rules that you're stating?
Well, I totally agree. It's intimidating for me, and I'm a lawyer and I know my rights. So I can only imagine for an immigrant who has been maybe living in the shadows and worried about her children and her family, also being really nervous about exercising these rights. So we have done some role playing in some of our presentations, but at the same time, we've told people, look, just be calm and just feel like you are empowered to exercise these rights. And if it is on the street...
No, you are not empowered to exercise these rights. If he tells you, hold on there, stop. Hold on a minute. Let me see some identification. And you refuse, right? Now you are failing to comply with a lawful command. He has the right to ask you for identification because he has a reason to believe that you may be an undocumented person. Or he has reason to believe that he has a warrant for somebody. He has a reason to believe that you're the person that he's looking for, and he has to figure out whether or not you are that person. This is an investigation. He's asking you for either identification. If you don't have identification, he needs your name and your date of birth. That's all you have to give is your name and date of birth. If you refuse to give that, you are failing. You're disobeying a direct order, a lawful command. These are crimes. This is crazy. People are going to get felonies fucking around with these types of people.
But at the same time, we've told people, look, just be calm and just feel like you are empowered to exercise these rights. And if it is on the street and someone stops and questions you, you can say, am I under arrest? And if you are not under arrest, say, I would like to leave. If they say you are under arrest, or if you get so nervous and they put you under arrest, then remain silent. And
No. Oh, hold on. That is not how this works. Let's play it back.
You are empowered to exercise these rights. And if it is on the street and someone stops and questions you, you can say, am I under arrest? And if you are not under arrest, say, I would like to leave. If they
stop, he's going to say, no, you're not under arrest, but you are being detained. Now, I'm just telling you how you can watch videos from now to the cows. I'm telling you how this is going to go. This is the type of person that gets people to get felonies right here. This woman, God forgive me, this white woman, I'm just saying, they're going to say, no, you're not under arrest, but you are being detained. Let me see your identification, please. Well, why should I give you I don't have to give you identification if I have an articulable. Do you have an articulable? They don't have to tell you they're articulable. That's for a court of law. See, these arguments are for a courtroom. They're not for the side of the road. They're not for inside or outside of a vehicle. They're not for outside in the public somewhere when you encounter a police officer. That is not the place to debate. You get your rights not on the scene. You get your rights after the fact in a courtroom. I can't stress this enough. You don't have no fucking rights until you're in a courtroom and the judge says, oh yeah, he had rights. You violated his rights. You get your rights in the courtroom. You don't get your rights on the side of the road talking about what you're going to exercise. So I'm just saying, I disagree with all this. I want to say a few things about it because now look, this is about police encounters. When you're talking to a police officer, you must obey him. You can't just walk away first, I was on a Greyhound bus once, right? All right. And they came through, they do these damn spot sting operations where you stop at McDonald's and everybody gets off the bus. And then when you get back on the bus, everybody's luggage is outside on the ground. and the police officer standing there will say, stand in front of your luggage. And so everybody stands in front of their luggage. And then now they didn't have the dog sniff all of the luggage. Or they'll get on the Greyhound bus one time. They got on the Greyhound bus and they went through the overhead bags up in the overhead. As they went by, they just pointed to this bag and said, is this your bag? And you say, yes. It says, do you mind if I search it? And he said, oh, I don't care. But when they got to me, she said, do you mind if I search your bed? I said, I sure do. No, you may not. She says, okay. She went on to the next person. Some officers, that is the law. So they will obey the law. But what I'm saying is, if they want to, they can say, well, I'm going to look through your badge anyway because you feel, I don't know, your eyes are watery. They don't have to give you a reason. They can just do it anyway. And then later on, after the fact, in a courtroom or on some paperwork somewhere, they say, well, the person's eyes were glassy, their speech was slurred, and I had a suspicion that they had alcoholic beverages. And so that's the reason. The reasonable suspicion was created an improbable cause, and they went through your bags. Oh, goddamn, we were looking for alcohol, but it's some weed up in here. So these types of things that happen that are transitional. It starts as one thing and it transitions into something else that can fuck around and give you a felony. No, I'm just telling you. You don't have to agree with me. Just try it. Go into Greyhound, and when they say they want you to pour out all your... I had my duffel bag one year in Florida, and I'll never forget, that officer wanted a whole duffel bag to be poured out on his table so he could go through it. I went through it and put everything out on the table. He looked at me, he says, you're a trucker, aren't you? I said, yes, sir, I am. I had like 4 knives. You know them little blades to cut open box cutters and shit like that. I had all kinds of crazy shit like that. He made me throw all my goddamn knives, box cutters, all that shit away, because they could be considered weapons. And it was very, very, it was offensive to me because I had to go threw all my shit out on the counter, which I didn't want to do. My bottom line is, you can't just refuse to do it. If you are randomly searched, that is a procedure. They can randomly search you at an airport, at a Greyhound, at a bus terminal, anywhere. They can randomly just, these immigration checkpoints, they can do it. That one time, that dog, I was driving my car through Texas somewhere, and I went through the immigration checkpoint, and he just knew I had the Illinois tags. That little Mexican-American, he pulled me to the side. He had his dog out and shit, and he was so sure. And finally, after he went around the car twice, I said, you know what? You can put the dog inside the car if you want. He looked at me and said, I can? I mean, it was like it was Christmas or some shit, right? I said, yeah, sure. So his dog got all up in the back seat and shit, sniffing and sniffing, and there was nothing. And finally, he just pulled his dog back and put his head down because he realized who he was. He just assumed, because I'm black and my tags were from Illinois, that I had drugs. They're taught that. He just assumed it. I was mad as a motherfucker. Because I had just bought McDonald's, and my bag of McDonald's was in the front seat, and I'd be damned if I was going to eat it after the dog was sniffing all over my shit. So I'm just, my bottom line is, they have a right to do these types of things. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the moment. I just want to say, it's a bad idea. You got to be smart. Don't just failure to comply. Is you're interfering with the investigation. Let me see if she says some more crazy shit. Hold on. Let me see.
You are under arrest, or if you get so nervous and they put you under arrest, then remain silent and ask to speak to an attorney. Immigrants.
Stop. You are required. There's another trap. If they ask you, best thing before you remain silent is, give them your ID. If you don't have ID, then tell them your name and your date of birth, and then say, at this point, I would like to remain silent. That's how you do that. But you must, because if you don't have ID, you say, this is my current address, here's my driver's license, or my ID, my state ID, because you're required to identify yourself. That's just a fact. You might not agree with it. In court, you can exercise your motherfucking rights if they violated it and get compensated if they violated your motherfucking rights. But on the scene, when he commands you to do something, you must comply with his motherfucking commands. And then after the fact, in a courtroom, a judge may give you your rights. But you're not getting no fucking rights at the scene. Only thing you have the right is to remain silent after. It's important to remember this. You must give them your name and your date of birth. That is the law. And the moment you say, well, I'm just going to remain silent, well, now it's failure to identify, which is another crime. These are traps. This bitch doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm just saying, you can be silent, but you must identify first. And then, okay, I've identified myself to you. Now I would like to remain silent. But you're not in it, sir. I've identified myself. At this point, I would like to remain silent. I have nothing more to say.
Need access to lawyers, to individuals who are aware of their rights so that they can exercise those rights. If people are illegally arrested, they should be able to be released here in the Illinois jurisdiction, where we secured a settlement that said you have to have probable cause or a warrant to arrest someone. If that doesn't exist and you arrest and detain someone, that individual should be released.
Yeah.
So again, that's in Illinois and the 5 other states in our jurisdiction. So it's very limited, but I do think that's very important for people to be aware of.
And are there different rules around the country, or are these rules in Illinois, or is it different rules around the country?
It's a result of a settlement that we secured in 2022 as a result of a lawsuit that we filed under the prior Trump administration. And according to the terms of the settlement, they have to have either a judicial warrant or a probable cause to arrest an individual. And if they don't have that, then that individual who may be arrested and detained should be released. And those are for individuals in these surrounding states in the Midwest.
No, that's it. I got to stop. But I just want you to know that, just remember, this shit that she's saying is not the end all be all. There's more traps. The trap is if you say, am I under arrest? And he says, no, but you are being detained. As a matter of fact, turn around. No, this is just for my safety. And they put the handcuffs on you. Now, you're not under arrest, but you're being detained. But now they're escalating because you're saying something smart. So now they want to irritate you so that you'll do something that they can be considered a crime, like jerk your hand away. That is considered assault on a police officer, jerking your hand away. These are traps. I just want to mention it. Those are my thoughts for the moment. This is bad fucking advice from this lawyer.